they're talking about Tiger Woods constantly. Until he's done playing, the specter of Tiger Woods will never leave the tour. And I think the producers of this docuseries understood that, and they're bringing to light some other stories across the PGA Tour. I watch golf regardless, but I am watching this and thinking, man, I am going to be more into Colin Morikawa or Joel Damon or some of these other players, and going behind the scenes of the decision to leave for LIV. You know, I mean, Dustin Johnson, I don't want to give too much away, but he's on there, saying what everyone knows. He's like, look, if you got this much money to work this much less, he's like, I get to be with my family and do what I want this much more time in the week, and I'm making this much more money based off what I've already made. How many people would actually say no to that? And whatever your job is, I'm getting paid a lot more to work a lot less, and that's why I did it. It's really, really interesting and really brings to light some other players. But watching over the weekend, going back to what you're saying, Tiger Woods is what matters. That's what matters. It wasn't Jon Rahm's win. It wasn't Max Homa battling him for the win. It wasn't Max Homa in tears after the round. It's Tiger Woods. That's what matters still.
On and off the course, because even if you didn't watch, you know the headline about Tiger. He outdrove Justin Thomas, who's 29 years old, 47-year-old Tiger Woods, and that early round tee box 16, I believe, outdrives Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods outdrives Justin Thomas and slips him tampon. And post round, he felt the need to issue at least some sort of apology.
With JT from 9 yesterday is kind of going viral. Can you kind of just explain your thoughts behind it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be, fun and game, but obviously it hasn't turned out that way. And if I had offended anybody, it was not the case. It was just friends having fun. And as I said, if I offended anybody in any way, shape, or form, I'm sorry. It was not intended to be that way. It's just, we play pranks on one another all the time, and virally, I think this did not come across that way. But between us, it's different.
That was all being discussed over the weekend too on social. Our buddy Keith Bullock, was discussing it with people on Twitter, saying hey, if my daughters, all of them understood this, I think if they saw this, they would have laughed about it, because of the competition aspect and the prank aspect about it.
The woman asking the question was laughing.
Yeah.
As she asked the question. It's unfortunate that a Christine Brennan writes this column.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like there's a lot of people who feel like Christine Brennan. I still think the vast, vast, vast majority of people understand it's a joke, and even if you didn't find it that funny, they're not offended by it, and they're not taking it out to, well, now women can't participate in golf because of this, because they're being disrespected. I just think there's so few people who actually feel that way, and Christine Brennan is writing a column to so few people that will agree with her. The vast, vast, vast majority of people who read that column will disagree with almost everything she said. So don't apologize. Just if you're Tiger Woods, there's no need to come back, and understand that almost everyone, except for the uber offended super minority, will care at all about that. So just say, look, it was a joke. It was intended to be a joke. Justin took it as a joke. If you don't take it as a joke, well, then I can't help you.
Yeah, and
that would have been my
response. That's also
to that.
The immediacy of the presser post round is when he's being asked that question. This isn't like the morning after that where he's having to come out to issue an apology. That's some statement that he wants to say. He didn't go that far, and he won't, and he shouldn't. Michael Johnson, the gold medalist at MJ Gold on Twitter, he wants a further apology from Tiger. Apology starting with, if I offended anyone, is no apology. And I'll chime in here. That's exactly what I was saying on Friday, which is he's not apologizing. If you're offended, sorry, but it was funny. The picking back up on what Johnson's saying on the tweet. But this is Tiger. Never been a leader, and he's Teflon. He's still heralded after all the mistakes, so he's learned nothing. Media focus always on miraculous recovery, never why the need for recovery. That from Michael Johnson, again, Olympic gold medalist. Way too far here. Way too far.
I'm shocked that a man who once donned gold Nike shoes in the 96 Olympics before he went out and won gold.
And the individual sport of it, too, aspect, which he can relate to. Think about Michael Johnson outrunning someone at his age versus what Tiger's out driving with Justin Thomas, a friend of his.
Yeah.
I mean, a friendly competition.
Different sports, obviously, but still, Michael Johnson is one of the all-time great Olympians.
Yeah.
And was bold enough to wear gold shoes before he went out and won gold. And now he's tweeting upset about this joke from Tiger Woods. Come on, man. Come on. Ridiculous.
No, the ability to separate the athletic accomplishment from on and off the course, the court, the field. I mean, for whatever reason, we've got to a point where some people just can't separate the two. And it's going, you do it everywhere. And it's not just sports, it's in every walk of life. You're allowed to be able to move on and do different things and still accomplish goals in your life and not be pointed at and discussed on that one specific aspect of what's happening. But if you bring up Tiger Woods at a bar where we're sitting, chances are one of the two things is going to come up: his accident, his car accident, or the time that his wife took a club to him.
Yes.
I mean, that's part of the conversation that follows him. It's not like because if I offended anyone, he gets away with everything.
Well, and regardless of the mistakes he made that put him in that spot, he still overcame a lot.
Yes.
So you can look at it however you want. Yeah, everybody acknowledges, it's not someone else's fault. The first part of it was his fault, but he still had to overcome a lot to get back to where he was. Now he's had to overcome even more after the car accident. We need to do a better job of compartmentalizing these things in life and still being astonished by the achievement of what he's done and what he's overcome. While also, if you're Michael Johnson, you can harp on the mistakes he's made all you want and focus on that. It doesn't change the fact he still overcame a lot, even if it was based on his own decisions.
It's just funny that the handing a tampon to Justin Thomas has elicited this reaction that the apology isn't good enough from gold medalist Michael Johnson. Chad, I don't know how you watched the NBA All-Star game.
I'll tell you
how clips of it.
I'll tell you how I watched it, Hutton.
Let me set mine up. All I saw was the introduction. They go to commercial break. They come back. They're warming up. They go to commercial break, come back. They just won't tip the game off. And so I didn't see any of actual gameplay.
Well, I'll go right into how I watched. I didn't.
Oh, good.
I didn't watch it. I saw one highlight. I saw Damian Lillard pull up from half court and bury a half quarter in the middle of the game, just at the start of the shot clock. No need to do it. Just open, just pulled up from half court and hit it, which was pretty cool, but pretty much indicative of where we are right now in the NBA All-Star game. Here is my big takeaway from it, though. It was terrible. Everyone that was a part of it was terrible. We're going to talk about one of the coaches soon that was a part of it who acknowledges it was awful. The NBA is really leaning into everything that someone would say negative about the league, time and time again. On Friday, it was that we have to avoid a last pick scenario with an NBA All-Star, that they're going to be the last All-Star take, and that's going to lead to problems for them because it's unfair that there has to be a last pick. Soft. All right? That's a knock on the NBA. Soft. They're leaning right into it. Load management is an issue we're also going to discuss. Load management in the league. Don't care about their fans. If you show up to a game, your hard-earned money, your favorite player's not playing, or the player on the other team that you wanted to watch isn't playing, that's a you problem, because these guys need to manage their load throughout the season and make sure they're good to go for the playoffs, some of which won't even make the playoffs, and it doesn't even matter. So that's another issue. Selfish. Star-driven and not team-oriented. The name of the damn teams in the All-Star game are Team LeBron and Team Giannis. You really want to lean into that we don't care about team in the NBA mantra and name the team after one of the players, the captain of each team, is so ludicrous. I thought when they tried to change this up and they had the draft and they went away from the conferences in East and West and everything, I'm thinking, well, at least they're trying to do something different. But now that we're some years into this experiment with it, maybe I'm an old white guy when I say this, and I'm the get off your porch type of guy. They should just go back to being East versus West. It's very simple to understand. There's an Eastern Conference that plays the Western Conference champion in the NBA Finals. Why not just go East versus West? Let's get some rivalries going with the two conferences again. Don't worry about the draft. Have the Eastern Conference All-Stars versus the Western Conference All-Stars. I don't know how you change a generation of players' minds and attitudes to believe they should play hard in an All-Star game. They're probably not going to do it. Years ago, they didn't really do it either, but it was at least a little bit more competitive, especially late in games. But again, all I saw was the one clip, but whoever you are that watched the NBA All-Star game, there's probably very few of you that did, but whoever watched it, whatever you saw in that game is simply not good enough. And it's time to go away from this ego-driven Team LeBron versus Team Giannis versus we can't offend a guy by being the last pick in the All-Star draft. Come on. Give me a break.
Well, and, I mean, we've reached the era, and we've been in the era, where the players own the league. They run the league. And so that's why it's Team LeBron and Team Giannis, and you can't be a last pick, even though practically anyone listening or watching right now has been a last pick at some point in some type of athletic performance. Chad, T-ball. Someone's the last pick in T-ball. You have a draft in coach pitch.
Right.
Someone's the last pick. You don't pick your reserves first.
Now, to be fair, we don't do it in front of the kindergartners.
Yeah.
We're in a room at the softball complex, and we're doing it. We're not supposed to go and, tell the little...
They're also not NBA players.
To tell the little girl, you're the last pick. Of course.
Yeah.
Also, you're not... This isn't the last pick in the NBA draft or the last pick of all the available players in the NBA.
Oh, there will be
You're
one.
an all-star.
There will be a last pick in the NBA draft.
But can you imagine someone coming up to you and asking you about it and you saying, yeah, I'm really offended. I was the last pick of the NBA All-Stars. I'd be the first to raise my hand and say, I'm a damn all-star. I don't care. These guys didn't want me. I guess I'll have to show them in the last 25 games of the regular season somehow. It's so incredibly soft. Amar on our YouTube chat says, you guys just hate LeBron and the whole NBA period, so why talk about the NBA if you hate it? Doesn't make any sense to me to talk about football. That's what you guys like. I do love football. I also love basketball. I loved the NBA.
I agree.
I'm not coming from a place of I want to hate the NBA forever. Give me a reason to love it again. I loved the NBA for years. I can go back to those Phoenix Suns teams in the mid-aughts that I loved watching, that were fun, that scored a ton of points. The Golden State Warriors when they started out.
Yes.
Hutton and I were hosting watch parties for the Warriors early on in the playoffs in 2013, 2014, around that era.
The NBA
I want
pencils.
to watch this again.
I want to buy NBA pencils
I'm
again.
not just coming in here to talk about the NBA every day because I hate basketball or I hate the current NBA and I want it to change. I want it to get back to where we once were. There's great talent everywhere. Basketball has never been more global. It's never been more talented. Physical talent, skill talent, everything is great. Let's make the league reflective of that and get away from this soft mental nature that we've all been grown accustomed to.
What's the guy's name in the chat?
His name is Amar.
Oh, Amar. Should we go to break with the slow-mo of what TNT had in the pregame warm-ups of LeBron slow motion putting the crown on his head? Did you see that?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I hope someone on the TNT crew, namely Charles or Shaq, made fun of that when it happened.
No, they didn't. No, they've turned the All-Star game into the ESPYs, which is unwatchable.